Tumtum 0246 422 338 and at 0546 133 188. Franco Trading Enterprise. Still phone Papa Fie. And you're not going.
Tri-Steel Roofing Company Limited. Eyadwumako atwa nkyɛnse papa ɛwɔ Ghana ha. Ɛna de nsɛmde ɛbrɛwo. Tri-Steel Jebremu, Yanchensin Papa Yeka, a secular wave, self-floor tiles, IDT, IBR, and a transparent fiber sheet, and a Jensen Santehne, Color Supreme Plus One, they say over Bata, Yakobosom free of charge. And now when you walk up in Tenida Dadia, and your ton Chancena, a subonic Cadinano, the Betria Eddie amount, a bunch Chansen dia, you need to pay. Friend number says 0302 850 802, 0302 850 802. Young Krabatane Dawson, Bora Tri-Steel Krabatabia Belvia. Say Sasabi Junction, Dodo Wakwanso, Yanyano Kwanso, Ewa Kaswa, Congo Villa, and Crown Filling Station, give you Ewa Franco, and I really back Kaswa Kwanso, Forestry Checkpoint of Bujumbura. Your main office no Ewa My 11 Cemetery, Shani Monomoa, and Krakaswa Kwanso. Tri-Steel Roofing Company Limited, number one choice.
He was standing there with only a few seconds left. Then the bomb would go. Kaboom! He didn't know which wire to cut. His hands were all sweating and shaking. The knife was even slipping from his hand. The time was going. 3, 2, 1.
Get the best companion for your HD TV with HD Plus. Visit the nearest dealer for your HD Plus decoder and subscribe via *879# to enjoy the feely experience now.
Wakey, rise and shine.
Take a deep breath and relax. It's all going to be fine.
Time to get out of bed. Time to put on the radio. Oh, you've already put it on. You're waking up with Daybreak Hitz.
Welcome back here on Hitz 103.9 FM. That's music of Capone. Super talent. I heard Kilagazi introduce this song and I fell in love with it. Oh, have you forgotten his your artist? Oh man, the way I'm even giving the boy fans, it pay me say you here.
Give out fast for me, man.
No. Like it's like because you are here.
Yeah.
But I'm doing this.
This is out of your heart.
Straight.
I didn't even see what time you put it on there.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Wicked tune, wicked. Yeah. Tell the boy that I dropped my heart off for him.
Yeah.
I mean, when I heard the song,
he's listening.
Oh, he's listening. Yeah. Tell him, yo, Capone. They should watch out for the boy.
I remember when you
were telling me.
Yeah, I was telling you about. He has a new one with Eno and the rhymes.
Okay.
Just released, I think, last week.
Okay, I have not heard that one. But yo, this is a wicked tune.
Yeah, wicked.
Okay, listeners. So, Showbiz Review is brought to you by Vodafone, Tri-Steel Roofing, Franco Trading Enterprise. Now, let's get to our story. There is a report by the Consultative Committee to Combat Drug Menace in Schools and has established that about 54.1% of boys in junior high school and senior high schools use cannabis. It's good Mr. Logic is here. We are talking about cannabis. We. Bonsam Tawa. Kweku. Edia also ha. This one I've never heard it though. Wow. Chufunta. Yeah, man. There are a lot of names.
The Tadi guys call it Ahabanti Tikwafuamwa.
Ayo. Some also call it simple. Oh, they have a simple name. Edru. Okay, so according to a survey which was carried out by the committee, 59.9% of boys tend to use cigarettes more in schools. The survey was conducted in 176 schools to ascertain the source and cause of an increase in drug use in various senior, high, and junior high schools in the country following the establishment of the committee under a directive by President Akufo-Addo. Within a year, the committee had established its findings and submitted a report to the president through Interior Minister-designate Ambrose Derry, who inaugurated the terms of reference of the committee on behalf of the president. After the survey, the committee has established that 36.4%, of first and second cycle students in the country experiment with 2 or more different drug substances. Given a breakdown of the numbers, the committee noted about 88.6% of students that were sampled undergo stress in various schools, and drugs are the major influences of the stress. This occurrence was blamed largely on bad eating habits in schools, which, according to the report, contributes about 64% of stress in students. It further established that 36% of boys and 32% of girls use alcohol in schools, while 34.3% of girls use shisha in schools. Shisha. Also, it was recorded that 72.7% of girls use pain relievers in schools. According to chairman of the committee, Bright Apea, the committee used various methodologies to secure information, which included engagements with about 10 psychiatrists, 138 heads of schools, and 72 guidance and counseling units in various schools. He added that the committee reviewed works by the other institutions such as the FDA, Narcotic Control Board, the Ghana Police Service, the Gender and Social Protection Ministry, among others, to enrich their report. Now, let's listen to chairman of the presidential consultation. They spoke with MFR Pau on the probe on Joy News.
So we as a committee were tasked with a terms of reference to look at the various issues. One, to make look at the causes, the sources, and the effect of drugs on our students, and then also make recommendations to His Excellency the President to take action on it. So we did that, and then in terms of the key findings, we also made that known to the Honourable Minister Designate for Interior. So those were the things that we have made too. But in terms of the content of the report, there are a lot of things that are in that we did not make public, and for that matter, I don't have the authority to make public unless the President himself speaks on it. So some of these issues, I would rather prefer that we wait for His Excellency to make the announcement. But I can tell you on authority that there are a lot of things, and at the appropriate time we should take action. But what I will say is that we should not take it for granted what is happening to children in our public schools, and then this means both junior and then the senior high schools, even including private schools in this country. So I think that some of even the issues borders on national security. So I would leave it there in terms of the discussion on some of the effects.
So that was the chairman of the committee, Bright Apea, speaking with MFR Pau on Joy News on the program The Probe. Meanwhile, President, National Association of Teachers, Ghana National Association of Teachers, also known as NAT, has also spoken. This was what he had to say.
Whatever happens in our school is a mirror reflection of the society we find ourselves. The happenings in the school cannot be extricated from the realities in our societies. So if there is increased drug use in our schools, it is a reflection of increased drug use. The availability of the drug, the level at which the drug is permeated our society, the nonchalant attitude of authorities to ensure that we seal the various conduits through which drug is channeled through. All these things culminate in whatever happens in the various institutions that we find ourselves. If very powerful people are engaged in this malfeasance and this unacceptable activity, then those powerful people are being able to evade the scrutiny of national security. So once these things are in the society, the easiest target is the unsuspecting youth who become prey to the activities of some of these people. The next thing that I would like to identify is the high number of students found in schools, where the situation is become so unsurmountable to be handled by the teachers. In those days when I was in school, the population of students in school was manageable in relation to the number of teachers that are found in the school. Today, the numbers are so huge, the numbers are so high, coupled with the fact that the teacher himself or herself is a very demotivated person as a result of inappropriate and inadequate salaries and compensation that the teacher is paid. We have the situation we find ourselves.
Daybreak Hits.
Right, so you heard Angel Kabonu. He is the president of the National Association of Teachers. He also spoke on the same program, The Probe, on Joy News with Emefa Apau. Now, I think it would be appropriate if we get, a cognizant or someone who knows better or an expert on this. So we've invited Dr. Isaac Newman Arthur, licensed medical practitioner and a clinical psychologist, to speak on this. Dr. Newman, good morning and many thanks for your time. How are you?
Yeah, good morning. What's up? It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while, Doc. I'll be your dog meal. I'll be your small boy. Yeah, but I'll call you. There's something I need to discuss. I'll call you. Right. So now this morning we're discussing quite an alarming issue. 54.1% of boys in JHS and SHS have taken to drugs. What's your take on this?
When I saw the figure, I was doubting it actually, because it's really high. It's quite difficult to comprehend, like to accept. Though that is the figures they have, the true figures based on whichever research they've done. Like it's quite difficult to comprehend, as in to understand, to accept. Not that the figures are wrong, but it's quite difficult to accept the fact that is the situation, and so it's a worrying situation. It's really a worrying situation,
They've given reasons. There were reasons for the usage of these substances. For example, 36% of boys and 32.1% of girls use alcohol in schools, while 34.3% of girls use shisha in schools. And it was recorded that 72, a higher rate, 72, this is where I find a bit alarming, 72.7% of girls use pain relievers in schools. Isn't this worrying?
Yeah, it is. 54 is a very worrying figure, and all the things you are mentioning, it's quite worrying because, but what did they say was the reason for the use of these ones? What was the reason? Did they give any reason? I haven't seen the documentary.
All right, so
yes,
they gave reasons, and that the reason, especially when it comes to these usages, the reason is that they undergo stress in various schools. They also gave reasons to bad eating habits, and so those were some of the reasons they mentioned. If there is more, or if there are more, then unfortunately I couldn't find them in the write-up.
Yes. So let me just make these statements that children learn. They learn by observation. They learn by what they experience, what they're exposed to. So I don't think the problem is with the schools per se, but the problem actually, I think, has to do with home. It's the home environment. You see, it starts from home. If you have a parent who drinks alcohol, the child is likely to drink alcohol. If you have a parent who smokes shisha, the child is likely to do that. That is the first thing. The second is that if you look at what students now are exposed to...
Dr. Newman,
yes.
Sorry to interject, but I find it a bit... okay, forgive me if I doubt or disagree with you on this. In the case of shisha, where our parents never used shisha, me until I grew up, I had never seen shisha. And so if parents never smoked, for example, I come from a Christian background where my father is, let's say, a pastor or a man of God who never smoked. All he did was preach. He held the Bible. He did greater things. How come I'm not smoking? And someone tells me, or a clinical psychologist tells me that, oh, it all starts from home. Isn't it?
So I'm coming, you see, I'm mentioning points. So the first point I made was that some students will smoke or drink because of what they observe from the house. You know, I know students whose parents actually send them to go buy these things for them. And I know parents who allow their kids to actually drink alcohol. They teach them to drink alcohol because they don't find anything wrong with it. So that is one point. So the family itself exposes students to a certain kind of lifestyle. That is one point. The second point is that if a student is complaining about stress, it may not actually be stress even from the school system itself, but it may be actually stress from home. When there is abuse at home, there is neglect at home, the stresses of the home situation also exposes the student to all kinds of lifestyles. That is because if you talk, even pastor's home, there is more stress in pastor's home than even outside. I'm a pastor's son, so I know the stresses that pastors go through, the home environment of a pastor is, especially when there's neglect on the side of the pastor. There are a lot of pastors who are more concerned about their churches than even the family. So that environment. I have worked in a school as a school doctor before. One of the top, secondary schools in the country. I won't mention the name of the school. They are actually students who do not want to go home during vacation because the home environment is so hostile to them and unpleasant to them, such that they prefer actually to be in school than home because of all the stresses they go through at home. The third one has to do with the fact that now with access to internet, almost every young person now, whether it's in JSS or SS, has a smartphone. And they learn from online. They learn these things. They may not have seen shisha at home, but they've seen it on the net. They may not have seen, drugs at home, but they learn it from the net. The media and media-related issues exposes students even to a certain kind of lifestyle that the parents are not even aware of. So they actually learn how to smoke online. They learn how to, pick all kinds of behaviors online. That is another reason. The next reason has to do with the fact that, you see, when you have a lot of students going through all kinds of problems, even from home, they tend to trust friends more. They tend to relate with friends more. They tend to enjoy the company of friends more, even than the home environment. Currently, I'm helping a kid who is addicted to some drugs because of bad parenting. He feels that parents don't love her and him and all that, and because of that, he is it's friends who love him, and those friends actually have introduced him even to a certain type of drug. And so you have students who are trapped in between the friends and the school, and so who do I choose to relate with? And they prefer to relate to their friends because friends will accept them, will love them, will give them a certain kind of attention they need and stuff like that. And so they will tend to follow friends and what they do. Then the final thing I would add has to do with the fact that in those days, when we come to a school environment, actually there are all kinds of things that the school would put in place to be able to shape behaviors, right? To be able to enforce on discipline, enforce on this and that in school. Now all those things have been removed from the schools. Now a parent's child may even be doing something wrong in the school, and the teacher will talk about it. And actually the parents will take the teachers on. Those days, you dare talk back at your teacher, or you dare, not listen to what the teacher says. But now it's not so. It's not so. So there are a lot of parents who really would even go to the school, confront the teacher and that kind of thing. So even if a teacher finds a student in a certain kind of behavior, the teacher is afraid to even address it because of what the parents will come and do. And now even with the breakdown of the family system, even in Ghana, in Africa, you realize that even in those days in a community, when your child is doing something wrong, someone's parent can even approach your child and talk to your child or something. But now,
back then they were not just talking. They will discipline you. Share.
They wouldn't discipline you, but now you see it's gone. What's the same as gone? You see, we are borrowing a certain Western lifestyle. And that kind of lifestyle is not compatible with a certain kind of life. You go to Europe and US and all that, drug-related issues is massive. You go to UK, go to US, go to France, go to all those places. Drug-related issues is a major problem there. And the single fatherhood rate even in the US is almost about 70 or 80%. So we are borrowing a certain lifestyle and we are destroying our own culture. We are destroying our own family system. So I'm not surprised at these figures. It's quite, amazing to have these figures in the various schools. So these are multiple factors, but it comes from the fact that we have abandoned a certain system and we are borrowing a certain system that is not compatible with actual, good behavior, even for the schools. Not the US. Even teachers can't do anything in the US. A child can insult a teacher and nobody really, disciplines the child. And that is it.
Okay, so whose responsibility is it to check these children? Is it the parents or teachers?
It's a combination. We need both. We need both teachers and we need parents to be able to help shape. Society shapes us into becoming something. Now the society that is supposed to help us, it helps shape the child. We've destroyed that society, and parents now don't even have time for their kids. So you have kids trapped in between all kinds of things, and they don't know who to turn to, and who they will turn to is their friends, because parents will have time for them. So now the society that can discipline kids is not there. Those days, your child is even walking somewhere or dressed somewhere, another person can call them and advise them. But now, if you do, their parents will come after you. So we need the society to help shape our kids. We need parents to do that. We need the school teachers to help do that. Because the child is exposed to all these different systems at the same time. They're exposed to the home environment. They spend more time in school. They spend time in a certain social setting. So if you don't have people in all these settings to be able to help nurture the child in a certain acceptable way, it becomes very, very, very difficult to instill any kind of good behavior in any child. It's difficult.
Right. Thank you very much for talking to us, Dr. Isaac Newman, Arthur.
Thank you very much.
I'm so grateful, sir.
I wish you all the best.
Right, you too, sir. I'll call you.
Yeah, God bless.
Right, God bless you too. Right, so that was Dr. Isaac Newman, Arthur. He's a licensed medical practitioner and clinical psychologist. And let me begin with you.
Okay, Andy, you see, this research, if they are to go further, you realize that the numbers will be higher than this. Because I remember at a point in time, they did another survey that was done by NACOP, Narcotics Control Board. Yeah, one job that I like their name, Narcotics Control Board. Yeah. And it came out that about 80%, they did that in Ashanti region, about 80% of junior and senior high school boys were into drugs. Now we're talking about cannabis alone. This is about cannabis alone. We've not talked about opioids, the various synthetic drugs that these people are exposed to. The morphines, the profins, the recent one that became so popular in Ghana, the tramadols and all these kind of things. These are drugs that they can have easy access to. And apart from that, too, they are cheap.
So the tramadol, it's not that easy.
Oh, come on, tramadol. When you go to the drugstores, definitely after it became popular and the government decided to put measures in place to restrict access to it. But these people, the Gao people who sell around in the various communities, they sell tramadol. You see them, they sell it. They go from Biaba to Biaba, and people buy them at a very cheap cost. So if they think that restricting it at the drugstores alone is enough, people smuggle it into the country. These Gao people get access to it, and they also peddle it in the communities. So you are at the drugstore restricting, but he is at the Biaba selling to the boys directly. So they don't have to go there. They have access to it at where they think they can get it. So it's a problem. It's a problem because this is narcotics alone, cannabis alone. If they are to go into other areas, they will realize that, Charlie, we've lost it. Me, I'm not surprised. You know why?
Why?
When the senior high school students went to write the BEC, did you see the number of attacks on teachers and the number of vandalism that went on? They were beating teachers to the extent that senior high school, was it a junior high school? No. Junior high school students in the northern region.
Excuse me.
They beat a police commander. To the one police commander,
destroying
schools and a whole police commander. They pelted him with stones to the extent that the man was admitted at the hospital. Junior high school at that level. How bold can you be?
Even came insulting the president.
Yeah. So that should tell you that they've been on something. But the problem is, and you don't have time because you have to go to work to find money to feed the family. I don't have work because I also have to come to work. So who is taking care of our kids?
Good question.
We are chasing money and we are losing control on our kids. So our kids are exposed to the various content on mobile phones, the YouTubes and all these social media platforms, whether good or bad. And their peers are also with them. So their peers become their counselors, their role models. Because you are not available in the house to serve as a role model to your kid. So you leave the kid to the peril of the friends. So at the end of the day, the friends are the ones who tell the kid what to do. And you know, sometimes boys, oh, Charlie, you be fear, you be fear. You want to show that you be man, so you go take them. If you meet some of these young boys and girls, the kind of conversation and they engage in, you'll be afraid. You'll be afraid. Something that you couldn't have done years back. But now it's common. Look, this research, I'm telling you, the numbers are higher than this. Yes. And it is not in Ghana alone, all over the world. Now, drug usage among the youth is the biggest problem. And people are cashing in from that. It's a business. Because if you can smuggle tramadol, you can smuggle morphine, you can smuggle these codeines and all these things, and people can have access to it at where they consume it, you make a lot of money. So even though we've put things in place, the things that we've put in place, to me, is cosmetic. It's cosmetic. What we have to do to ensure that the kids are protected from some of these drugs, we don't do it. Yes, right. Cannabis. Why I was saying cannabis might be, this might be low is going to the ghetto, the police will chase you, the scatter and all these things might scare them. Okay, what about the tramadols and all these things that they can have easy access to? So we should look at the other side. And now, Andy, because we don't have time to take care of our family, we should have adopted the old, social system where if you are not there, I'm there. I take care of my kids, I take care of your kids. If you are there and I'm not there, you take care of my kids, you take care of your kids. Now, you don't want me to take care of your kids. You are not there. I don't want you to take care of my kids. I'm not there. So who takes care of them? That is the problem we have now.
Right. Thank you very much, Ernest. Yes. Yeah.
Andy, I think Kumi has, made a lot of sense with whatever he's saying. And I think there's a trend in all the submissions that are coming. And basically, it is the new parenting style. I will never, old heads or our ancestors or forefathers didn't, make a mistake by saying it takes a village. Back in the day, when I was growing up, when you do something in town and your neighbor or an older person in the community sees you, they will discipline you.
Straight.
And when they discipline you, they take you to your mother, and your mother is going to discipline you too.
Right in front of the person.
Exactly. So, this new trend of parenting, leave my child, she's like that. She, they don't do this to my child, don't do this to my child, has led to all these things. I mean, where I attended high school, I don't want to mention the name now. We had children coming from all walks of life because, we had children from basically from America and London in my school. Their parents wanted them to have the Ghanaian training because they were going wayward outside. And so they came to Ghana. Okay. And when they came to Ghana, they brought their lifestyle to us. you know, whatever they were doing there. And they was like, oh, this is the it thing. So like, let's do it this way. And unfortunately, we also decided to follow them, tag along and all that. You get me? And sometimes I want, you know, the governments to actually educate people. And Kumi said it, that it's not only weed, cocaine, and heroin.
Oh, that is even the tip of the iceberg.
Yes. Because, you know, somebody, for a woman, I could just have menstrual cramps. And my friend will give me one drug, which is a painkiller. And then I'm hooked. I am just hooked. And I'm like, oh, this thing. And I liked how it made me feel. It gives you euphoria. It makes you feel good. It makes you feel like you can conquer the world. And then I take it and now I'm hooked. And I don't even know that what I was given was a narcotic. You know? So... I think we have so much to do, and we are in a community where we do not think about mental health. People think that once you are fed and well clothed, that is all. We do not have even counseling facilities in schools where students could go and say, oh, this is what I'm going through. Can you help me with this? You know, I mean, it's crazy. It's just crazy. Teachers just beat students for not performing well in school without knowing exactly what the student is going through. Maybe the student has attention deficits. This teacher doesn't know. Then the teacher will beat you. Then your friend will tell you that, oh, take this drug. This drug makes me stay up all night, and I will study and I make the grades. You know, students weed like this cannabis. It makes you lose 5.8% of your IQ before you become an adult.
Yeah.
Seriously, no, and it's,
are you sure?
Yes,
You know, some
and
people
it reduces testosterone levels in
testosterone.
Yeah, levels. And you think testosterone.
She's speaking from experience.
I did my research before getting. No.
Then what are you saying?
You can't speak
No, but unfortunately, but I do not have to
But you do
smoke
speak on
weed.
smokers.
I do not have to smoke weed
Okay,
for me
yeah.
to know my to do my research.
Right, I understand. But research there, you see, if you do soup and you want to see how the salt tastes, you have to taste.
Unfortunately, I do not have the heart to try weed.
Then the testosterone.
Okay,
and
but
okay,
it is something that is there, and testosterone is not only even for libido, as people think. With even the transfer of red blood cells and oxygen in your body, it is also responsible for it. So you can imagine the damage you are doing to these people that are advocating for the legalization of marijuana. They do not know that these other countries that have legalized it, they have a way of cultivating it to actually take away most of the negative things inside and use it only for the healing purposes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Logic.
Bria,
Yes, dear.
Don't attack Ria.
how are you?
Speak to the issue.
Very good.
Speak to the issue.
Violence.
Well, I'm speaking to the issue. I mean, some of the statements she made about weed. I think no, we are speaking about the narcotic.
So get to the case.
As a matter of fact, we're living in a very narcotic system. Our system is narcotic enough to frustrate everybody to do some of these unfortunate vices. I would like to give Rhea a little bit of insight into marijuana. All the things she said, the negative things she said. There is nothing negative about a herb.
Speak to the issue.
No, it's the issue I'm dealing with.
So why are you giving us the
No, because she has put out an info. And as a person who also knows a bit about that particular
so you
issue.
Speak to the issue. We would correct
Okay, then I will still do a connecting.
You're ready.
No, I will have to connect. I will have to connect her.
See the connections.
I will have to connect her.
Violence.
Andy.
Connection man.
I'm a connection man. It's very important. And I didn't. You see, when the doctor was speaking, there were things. I mean, I like where you said mental health. Very important. People can be sick, and it's not necessarily a narcotic issue or a weed or whatever issue. We have mental sickness. Bipolar is one of them. Even depression is one of them.
Yeah.
You understand? Someone can be, if you're a bipolar person, if you're a highly bipolar person and you try weed, you may find yourself as a madman.
Bipolar, you mean?
Bipolar, yeah, sorry, bipolar. You may find yourself as a madman. It's not the weed. It's your mental sickness combined with the harshness of the weed that will make you mad. It's not the weed that will make you mad.
Rather trigger.
The weed wouldn't trigger. It will take you to that realm that your bipolar will start taking a negative effect on you, not the weed. Because no matter how much weed a person smokes, it finally comes off. You finally gain your consciousness. Yeah, it takes you a certain realm. That realm, you need certain level
angels.
of. You know, that's the part we can't really explain unless these medical people explain to us. They have their terminologies, but it's not all of them we can work with.
I've been there before.
Yeah, the help that people are asking for.
You remember when I sat on the wall and the wall was...
Yeah, you gave your experience. Yeah. The legalization is it's a pure medicinal weed. They have a particular weed that is used for this medicine. So
now, Mr. Logic, there's something I want to find out from you. You have kids. In this case, whose responsibility is it to check these kids?
And you see,
is it the parents, or what can we do for the children?
That's why I said that we live in a very narcotic system. The system itself has failed us. All this thing we are complaining, if you blame a parent for not taking care of his or a child, they will have reasons for you. I have to go to work. I have to look for money. They will give you reasons why they're absent. And you cannot fault them because we all get up and leave our homes to go and make ends meet, find food for the family. So you don't tell me I should sit at home and make sure I keep an eye on my kid 24 around the clock just to prevent him from smoking weed. It's not possible. The system is narcotic. Our leaders have failed us. They have look. He was talking about marijuana being a research on marijuana. How much research have they done on homosexuality? How much research? Look at how many lesbians are in the girls' schools and the gays in the boys' schools. How many research? See, when I say our leaders have failed us, sometimes it's as if we have misplaced priority. It's like, as a country, it's as if we have misplaced priority.
Deal with this one. Tomorrow,
Andy,
I'll come your way with that one.
You have to let me deal with this issue.
So deal with
360, not just on the weed. Because the weed is not the biggest problem we have in this country.
No, that is the biggest
problem. That is what we are discussing.
The biggest problem we have now.
So I am trying to make you understand that there should be research into other dangerous areas that are more important than weed.
That's what I'm
saying. If weed was not a killer, I'm not sure they'll be pushing for legalization. If it was not a killer,
legalization is for medicine.
Every drug has side effects.
You know what? Even paracetamol has side effect.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, so weed having side effect is not that. It's not out of the moon.
But if your side effect is reducing cognitive function,
Ria,
and this is a school.
You have not used weed before. I'm not saying I've used one before.
Haven't you used
I am entitled to my submission.
On what basis?
I am entitled to my submission.
Are you making that argument? On what basis?
I would want you to try weed one day before you come.
No, have you tried weed?
You said you've not tried
weed. Have you tried weed?
You lived in Jamaica, you never tried weed.
You know what? Don't speak about what you don't know and what you have not experienced.
So you have tried weed.
So have you tried weed?
You have tried weed.
You know what? Why will I run away from the head?
The question is,
I've tried it, yes.
Okay. No, you just said
I've
tried
it.
it.
And I'm telling you that
you use it.
Even you yourself, you gave your own testimony.
Oh, that's
you were once a user.
I didn't use it. I tried it.
You tried it.
I didn't use.
So you choose that word carefully.
Don't talk.
That's what I'm saying. I tried it. I didn't say I'm a user. I said what? I tried it. I've tried it before.
You are enjoying the conversation.
Yeah.
I've tried it before. So you see, please, let's try to understand, because I know people who also tell you that weed is the best thing in their life. Others will tell you, no students.
We are talking about the students.
The student, see, when you want to advise people, advise the society, because the society is where the problem is created. These kids came from home, not just home, they came from the society. And they went to school and they met, and everybody brought their experience on board.
Okay, so
let's deal with the society. Because dealing with the kids, you just go and arrest kids and jail them, and it will solve the problem.
So here we are in the school. We are all students. Advise us.
See, Andy, when you don't have much experience in life, your opinion.
Advise us.
I want to advise you now. We are talking about this is purely a social issue. This is my first time speaking. I just go here.
Why is it that we becomes you talk like it is your
because
property?
The society we live in itself is the narcotic society.
So advise
we don't want to accept.
Okay, we've accepted. Advise your students.
So I'm saying that the kids, they left from home. They were at home and they went to school. They met. They all came from places. Now they began to share their experiences, things they are used to, things they are preview to, their orientation from wherever they are coming from. So that's why I said that. Dealing with the case, I mean, I heard the man saying they quoted the interior minister, how they prompted them to make arrests and all that. I said, look, do you know how many weed smokers and narcotic drug users who have been arrested and jailed 10 years and 15 years, and we still have this issue today.
Is this how you address your students?
I want to address the issue from the society level.
As time they go, and let's go.
If I tell a kid that don't smoke weed, he say, okay, I won't do it. Tomorrow you go and do it. How can I stop that kid? Deal with the issue from the root. Else, we will speak about this. We will drop the issue. Tomorrow we'll still have this recurrence. That's what's happening. We don't deal with the society. We always want to deal with the person. Andy go smoke weed. We will even find. That's why when you go abroad, you can be detected as a drug dealer. They will follow you like 15 years to track all your associates. So the day they arrest you, they arrest everybody. They stop the cartel. That's how you control an issue or a pandemic. Because I can consider it a weak pandemic. From the research, they said it's a pandemic. We pandemic. That's what they are facing there. Because the man said the research is alarming. So we are having a weak pandemic at hand. And Ria quoted, God. See, our leaders have failed us because they don't deal with issues from the root. That's why I even related all these gays and lesbians. Because we'll be here tomorrow, they'll say there is an alarming research on how many lesbians are in some school. They will come here talking again. We've been hearing this day and we don't deal with issues from the root. Where are the lesbians growing? Where are the weed smokers coming from? Track them from their root. Because if you go and arrest a child, 10 kids at Infantipim, and you jail them, you will still have 20 more kids who are also coming up. So are you going to jail the whole country? Else we won't be here. We have coronavirus at hand. People are dying. Look at us here. We are still here. We still shake hands and wear masks and go about. So deal with the issue from the root. I'm saying that this issue is not an issue. You tell me that boys are smoking. The research number is alarming. So go and arrest all of them. You don't deal with issues like that.
Right.
Solve the issue from the societal level.
Okay.
These boys are coming from homes that are depressed. So when they get to school, some of them don't even come back home for holidays.
And even easy access in the community.
Exactly. You cannot stop the cultivation of the weed.
Okay.
You cannot do.
We can't stop the gun.
It's going on. That's why I said, do you know how many weed smokers are in jail?
Okay.
And this thing is still happening.
All right, Mr. Logic.
So our leaders have failed us. And they have failed us.
This is Hitz.